All right, so moving on now, let's talk about the white tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ricardo, I just wanted you to do the synopsis for this, if you don't mind,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
So before I begin, saw the trailer for this early on this year. Thought it was awesome. I love that it felt like a darker take on Slumdog Millionaire, but it wasn't
Right.
Slumdog Millionaire, which is cool. And even kind of poke fun at that in the show, actually.
Yeah.
Director himself, Ramin Bahrani. I believe I saw Chop Shop from him. This was in the 2000s, but I was
Okay.
like way back. I can't remember if I did or did, but yeah, this was one of Roger Ebert's favorite movies of the decade. Actually, he actually loves that movie. But I've been meaning to rewatch that actually. But the last show I did see from him was Fahrenheit 451,
Right.
HBO's film, right? Which
Yeah. Didn't
yeah,
really work out.
it just didn't work out, despite Michael B. Jordan and Michael Shannon. I believe it was him, right? Yeah, being
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
it. It was trying to be like a dark version of the original Ray Bradbury movie, but it
I
just didn't
do.
work. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fortunately, you got a chance here with this movie, and it's pretty interesting too because McGill, Priyanka Chopra
Right.
is in it as well. And I know one of the big reasons why people are gonna watch the show is because she's in it, right? Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's be real. But yeah, Ricardo, take it away. What is the White Tiger about?
Right. So you have a kid from very shitty part of India called Balram, and he's like a pretty intelligent dude. At least relatively intelligent, well, she's at least precocious in his thinking from a young age, and he was dubbed for that. He was effectively kind of dubbed the quote unquote white tiger because you have a person
Right,
that
right.
show up every few like every generation, one of a kind type person. That's kind of change you will kind of thing. So he was dubbed that from the beginning, and basically he like just kind of trapped it within his family. You have a grandmother who not really helping him out in terms of life, and she kind of manipulative and controlling, and she let the father dead from tuberculosis because of that, and then from that he kind of breaks out and gets a little bit of money from her to get a job as a driver for this relatively wealthy family in India, and you find out like all of that's where it starts, where the shenanigans and bullshit start. And it starts off really light and nice and then goes into another place.
Yep,
And I thought this movie was kind of awesome, right? In fact,
it
I
is.
think I
It
think we have
is.
a contender for of our best a top 10 of the year already.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect this to be. It takes a turn or two that I was like, all right, it go in there, and then it doesn't do that. It is one of those ramp up movies that do a really good job of escalating the situation in ways I didn't expect at all. Because when it started the opening that little opening section of the movie, I was like, okay, I think I know where it's going, and it kind of goes there, and then it stops and doesn't go there, then start a ramp up from there. I like, all right, that really awesome. So we talking spoilers for this or not?
Let me keep it to a minimum now for
Okay, no
the
problem.
people who haven't seen it as yet.
So I'll say this was pretty goddamn awesome in terms of the central what it was trying to do. It's very blatantly class conscious. Like it's really on its sleeve with that, but it works and it works quite well. Like for what you're trying to do, but then it shifts it back, and it's like, well, it's not really that class conscious in a way. It is play with that. But it's mostly because of the main character. That dude Balaram, I forget the actor's name. That dude's kind of awesome. I mean, he's a great character. And what they do with it, and then all of the back and forth with it. Priyanka Chopra has a great little role in it. Um, I just dug the hell out of this movie. It kept my attention, paced itself very well, and then went into some super dark territory. Surprisingly, given the circumstances and the scenario, though. Yeah. So yeah, that just my first little take, and then we'll talk about it. It have no spoilers, so it's like, well, I just had to see what I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, if only we can get to spoiler territory, yeah, but yeah, I really do want people to see this for themselves, though.
Yeah.
What I would see, right? just for myself personally, this is one that I need to rewatch too. Because yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this, but I have a feeling that if I give it at least one more view, I'm gonna really, really like love it even more now.
Yeah.
Um, it's not perfect, right? Just to get this out
No.
the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say near like somewhere in the second act where there's a certain choice that has to be made, a certain thing that lands on our hero's lap, right? That he
Right.
has to deal with. Like I felt like pacing wise, this kind of slows down at this particular moment. You're not really
Right.
sure where the story is gonna go, and then he actually makes the choice, right? You kind of waited for it to happen, and then it just he just does it. That's all you'll say.
Right. Right.
If only we could have talked about it, right? But whatever. But and then the end itself, while I really really dug it, I felt it was almost like okay, we have about 10-15 minutes again. We need to get to the overall point of the story, so let's sort of pick it up. So you can kind of see the
Right.
story, just kind of pick it up, and
Well,
you get
okay.
this
So
sort of
at
montagey
at the
moment.
yeah,
But I
at the
would say
end.
though the end, especially that final shot, though, that was what I was like,
Right. No, at
yeah,
the
all right,
end,
cool,
yeah, no, it did a thing where it like it's more like, all right, well, this is now the new thing he has to do
yeah,
from where he
yeah,
thought he was, and like I like that. That's interesting in its on its own right. But I I understand like where the movie like easily a part two could come from something like that maybe, but like given the nature of the story, it's like all right, now I could stop right there. Um, but
yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
where it stops is fine, right? I have no problem
right,
with where it stops though. It's how to say it, it's almost like it's like a Goodfellas moment, right? Like
right,
when the character is developing, like he's growing in the field that he's in, right? And yes, just like Goodfellas, just like a majority of movies like this, it is voiceover narration, right? Which I thought would, right? Because yeah, just here in the context of everything that's going on, it makes sense. But yeah, it just kind of felt like oh, like it was the little montage moment that you get before another big scene, but it just kind of stops at this particular point, and I was like, oh, okay, well, or I should say, I thought it was going to lead to because slight spoiler, it involves him sending out an email
right.
to a Chinese person, right? And
Yeah,
I
it's like a
thought that
Chinese
okay, it was
minister.
going to,
Yeah.
right, right, Chinese prime minister. I thought it was going to end with him basically talking to him. Now, like you think it was
Well,
going
no,
to lead to that moment, but
that
it
is what right. So
doesn't.
that's why I like that ending because, like, yeah, it made perfect sense. Like, given what we know and what we learn, it's like, wait, how are we doing this exactly? And then they just like it makes sense of where it went. So I like that. That actually made a lot of. I thought I was like, wait, how are we doing this or how are you pulling it off? And no, it's like, oh,
Right.
it's
And then it's just
just
a matter of seeing it, and it's like, oh, okay, and that's
yeah,
it. Yeah,
right. So I was
I
like, I was digging that for
yeah,
what it was.
I understand. It's just like I felt like the big thing was him meeting this individual, but it wasn't really that, right? So
Right,
it was just like I guess an example of how the show kind of you know hints at one thing, but it's actually doing something totally different, right? Which yeah works,
right.
right? But yeah, other than that though, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. For one thing though, beautifully shot though. I will give it that though.
Yeah, pretty well done. Yeah,
Cinematography for this boy, wow, right? And you see like all sides of well, basically India, right? Because that's where the story is set basically.
right.
And you just see everything with it. Do you could tell that some Satyajit Ray, worship was going on just
Yes,
into just showing
yes,
all the different casts and just showing their
yeah. Very
lifestyles, all
class
that kind of stuff.
conscious.
Yeah,
Yeah, very class conscious. I didn't expect it to be as class conscious as it was, because like because when it started and the way the whole the tone of the show was, I was like, all right, well, it this the tone of the show as it is, and the joke I was going to make when I was watching that, I was like, oh, written by Hassan Minaj, right? I thought it was
oh
going to
lord,
be, I thought it was that, like it's just class conscious, but it's funny, and then it just take this super dark turn somewhere around the second after the second act kind of thing. Like, oh
yes,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
And where it goes is like, all right, well, this is real hard to die with it. Like a certain moment involving a wine bottle, well, a rum
yeah,
bottle. It's like, oh yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
real dread though. And I was like, okay, it's like this is much more interesting than I thought it would have been.
Yeah,
Kind of shocking actually.
yeah,
Um,
it was though. But I really
yeah,
love like yeah, just how the show just kind of just leads you one place, but then it just kind of gives you something else. Though. With yeah,
yeah,
that really worked well.
right,
I don't want to say it's very Scorsese-ish, but
A little bit. I mean,
yeah,
I was just thinking evils. I was just thinking Indian Scarface, but like subverted a little bit. Like, yeah, but it is very Scorsese.
yeah. What it shows people making, comparison with is Parasite, and to me it works not just
Right,
because of
right, right. Yeah,
the protagonist being a driver for this rich guy basically,
right, right.
but
Yeah,
also the how they touch on just class systems basically, right?
yeah,
Really see how the rich look down on the poor, and how
right.
the poor really try to do whatever they can just to be recognized and acknowledged by the rich stuff for the high ups basically. But it's just what it is just basically like this 2000s, because basically 2000s sort of Charles Dickens kind of story basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just this rags to riches thing there. That was just like that was the vibe I was going on. Like, okay, we're gonna see the rags to riches, and then somewhere in the second act, that's when somehow he gets that big break and he's the success that he is. But they don't really do that. They just kind of show, oh well, this is kind of like what he had to do. Sorry, this was the situation put in his lap basically, and
Right.
okay, something else drop on my lap here right now, literally, and I could do this or not, but he did it, and somehow he was just able to take that now and just become successful though. I just love like the final scene, basically final shot where he this sort of breaking the fourth wall kind of moment where he's telling one of these guys, hey, in those Indian movies when somebody does a crime, what I mean, they have all these nightmares and they feel bad and they have to atone for their sins, all that kind of stuff, right? And he's like, no, this is not how it is. This is the real. I love that. It's very edgy, though. Very how
Yeah,
to say, very but very hoodish in my opinion, though.
right. Well, and
Someone
then
on Facebook actually make the joke and call this a Bollywood movie.
right, and yeah, and then well, speaking of hoodie shows, yeah, there were a lot of great like hip hop tracks. They started with that classic. To me, one of my favorite beats ever, the Punjabi Jay Z thing, right?
Oh yes, the Beware of
Yeah,
the Boys. Like the moment
hmm
I heard, that, I was like, all
yeah,
right, this is
yeah,
where we at though.
right.
There was a Fat Joe song, right? And I remember how
Fajr,
big
right?
that song was. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was huge.
wow, this is where they're going. Okay. And there's even a song near the end though. The guy who performs it is Divine. He's a Indian artist, right? But the
Right,
man get Vince Staples and Pusha T though to drop verses on the beat. I was like,
right.
what? But
Yeah,
it's so hard though. It's so hard. It's called Jungle Mantra. And it plays at the very end of the movie. It had, right?
yeah,
But yeah, the story itself made sense. Just see this guy's journey and just see where he came from and just all the obstacles he just had to overcome the woods, right?
yeah,
And of
yeah,
course, it's not the kind of show where it's like, well, just do what he does and you'll be successful. It's like, no, this
yeah,
is what this guy had to do to break free from, the poverty. But we not saying that this is what you have to do. But it's just one of those shows you have to kind of nod your head like, huh, that actually like real smart with the way how he
yeah,
was able to do that. He was honest, he was truthful. It wasn't like he was just scheming his way to the top, but
you're right.
man did what he had to do, Trey. You have to respect that. But I just really love how he took everything that he learned, Trey, and make it he become an entrepreneur to that. Like that in itself is just so inspirational to me, Trey. Even though it was off of dark circumstances, right? But yeah.
Yeah, you know.
But lastly, just want to say the performance wise, though. Okay, if I get any wrong, forgive me, all right? Adash Gorav,
Okay.
dude, this
And
guy
hard. Yeah,
steals it, boy. This
yeah,
guy
hard.
have a future, boy. From
Yeah, holy
acting
show,
to
holy
to
show. Yeah,
to voice to narration,
yeah, you know.
everything
Real
goes down
judges.
with him, boy. And you just feel it everything, Joe. That from his transition from just being in the lower
Yeah,
caste now to being
mouse, as they say, it is mouse. What is called him by country mouse?
yeah, country boss, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And you just see that journey where just him learning things and all that kind of stuff, and it's plausible. You buy into it and all that kind of stuff. The guy who plays Ashok, right? That's the guy who,
Ashok, yeah, yeah,
right? Ashok, right? He's the rich guy basically that
yeah. He
hires
was
him,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good as well.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of moments, like especially involving his wife, played by Priyanka Chopra.
Right.
I was like, I don't know. He tried to he kind of forcing the emotions. Like he
No, well,
literally
what?
he was
Yeah,
forcing tears a little bit, but given the character and because of how kind quote unquote he is to
that's
the
what. Like,
leader, it
what they
makes
do with
sense why
him?
he react that way.
What they do with him, I really liked as well because there's a moment involving Priyanka Chopra in the airport, and after that,
Yeah,
They did
that's what
something.
I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
Right,
about.
right. That a lot of that work. Like I thought it worked. You can probably say it was the acting was the best, but whatever. I didn't take it on. It wasn't, but I did notice it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, well, the side characters as well worked as well. What I would say it is, what it also reminds me of quickly before I get to it, it has a sort of a City of God kind of feel where
Yeah,
it's all these different characters, but they all connected in some way. So yeah, some characters get some screen time, others do it. Like I was expecting to see a little bit more of the great socialist, right? This politician lady.
I
I
love
thought
her
to see a
character
little
though.
bit more of her,
Nah,
but
nah.
when she was there,
I
I
thought,
was like,
yeah, I thought
yeah,
what they did with her was perfect. Like it's
killing
like
it.
holy
Yeah,
shit. Yeah, I like holy shit. This real bad though. Like everybody just gangy and grimy as hell in this dread. But I tell you, the ending was real dread though. Like that ending with
yeah.
that ending was real dread. Especially that it just there's all I'll say about newspaper headline is like, jeez, boy, this one
Oh yeah, I know you're
way
talking
dread.
about. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
serious with this truck? It's like that real bad though.
yeah.
Like what
And
would?
yeah, last thing, Dred. It's one of those shows that yes, it is based off of a novel. I actually forgot that,
Okay,
but I would like. I had some points where I was like, this can't be based on a true story, right?
you know?
Because it feels like one of those stories that you wish like happened in real life now. But then when you saw based on the novel by, it's just like, but still, I just wish that it was actually based off of like true events or something like that. Now it's
And
one of the stories.
yeah, no, but that's the thing. I mean, it's one of the like it's India. India have all of these super disturbing like class stories all the time. Like that whole thing
Yeah, yeah,
involving a certain nightclub, shenanigans. Yeah, shit like that has happened all the time in India. Like, it makes sense and not like nothing felt too far fetched, at least for me. Like it was like, yeah, that makes sense. And like what the reaction to this thing, that make a lot of sense too. And it's a lot of that. I'm like, all right, that was good. For it is.
yeah. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you could buy into it as much as you want to, but still, because of how endearing the lead is, and because of just how the journey plays out, though. Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you, Ricardo. Yeah, it had me glued. I just wanted to see what happened next. It went into some deep dark corners, though, but still, it had a sort of a subtle sense of humor, which worked for me. So dark humor, basically, right? This really feels like to me it's almost like if you just hated everything about Slumdog Millionaire, you didn't like how triumphant and how this person just overcome the odds just to be in some train station singing Jai Ho. Well, this is like the opposite of that trend. So I like how
Yeah.
it kind of winks the camera, and even have a moment where yeah they do even reference Slumdog Millionaire and say it's not like in that show where these things happen. Trend. It
Yeah.
feels
Yeah. Mhm.
authentic. It feels real. The story itself, I could buy into it, and yeah, it's just so incredible, boy. Yeah, I honestly thought it was actually based on a true story. Then all to
Right.
realize it
Right.
was
Right.
based on a novel, but it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, this was a real deal for me. I really have a feeling if I watch this over again, I'm gonna love it. This is up there as far as best of the year for me. So rating wise, I'm gonna go with a strong 4 out of 5. I have a feeling that the more views I give it, it'll probably bump its way up to like a 4.5 or something like that. But for now, first viewing, I was blown away by this trailer. And yeah,
Yeah. I was so
highly
impressed by
recommend y'all
this.
check this out.
Yeah, this is hard.
Yeah, so last words, Rita.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I want to give it really high, but it'll probably get like a lower score. But for now, I'll get it. I'm giving it the 8 out of 10. But if I probably give it a rewatch, it might get bumped up because I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's shockingly good, but this is one that well, as much as I enjoy watching in comfortable house, sorry, I would have might spend some bucks on watching on that big screen. Jen. I would enjoy myself, man. But yeah, man, this is the real deal. It's on Netflix right now, anyway, so y'all don't have an excuse. Yeah, definitely check out the White Tiger, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard. Real hard.
Yeah.